Hi, my name is Brenton Harrison with Henderson Financial Group, and we're here to talk about some ways that you can financially prepare to have a baby. Let's get started. So at the time of this video, my wife and I have a little one who is coming up on his first birthday, and it has been a fun ride, and it also has reminded me of some of the things that I wish we knew before we had him on my wife's pregnancy journey. So I want to cover some tips that might help. Let's go through 5 ways that you could financially prepare. Number 1 is know the details of your health insurance. If you're not familiar, most health insurance plans are set up like this. You have a deductible, which is the amount of money that you pay towards your care before your insurance company kicks in. And at that rate, you are likely at the co-insurance rate, where you pay a percentage of your care and your insurance company pays a percentage until you reach what's called your out-of-pocket max. And that's the maximum amount you'd be responsible to pay for your care in any given plan year, not calendar year, which is an important distinction. Now, having that number in front of you, whether it's $5,000 or $10,000, gives you an idea of how much you could have to pay along your pregnancy journey, which is important. But it's also important that you know when your plan year ends. Not all plan years are from January to December, and you might find that you have a child that's due to be born shortly after your plan year starts over. As an example, if you have a child that's due on November 1st, but you have a plan year that ends on October 31st, it doesn't matter if you've paid your deductible, your copay, your out-of-pocket max, any costs that you accrue from that delivery on November 1st are seen as a new plan year. You'd have to start over. Both of these things are very important to know because they could save you some money ahead of time, or at the very least, they could allow you to better prepare for the situation ahead. Number 2 is ask your healthcare provider about their billing practices. It is very common these days, whether you're using an OBGYN or a midwife or a doula, that you'd be required to prepay for your care or a certain percentage of your care. As an example, you might have an OBGYN who says that he or she requires you to prepay your portion of their care by the 20th week of your pregnancy. Doesn't matter if you've actually had those visits yet, they're saying that if you have not paid a certain amount by the 20th week, they will not see you again until that money is paid. Now that could accelerate the amount of money that you have to pay over the course of a certain months and compact it to a much shorter period of time. And if that's the case, it's also something that's good to know as you start to plan out the costs that will be associated and also when they will fall along that 9-10 month period. Number 3 is develop a short-term maternity and paternity plan. You might find that you work for a company that offers a certain amount of paid maternity or paternity leave, and you might be eligible for an additional amount that is unpaid. As an example, you might have 12 weeks of paid maternity paternity leave and maybe up to 16 weeks in total, with the last 4 weeks being unpaid leave. If that's the case, you want to know what your plan is for after the birth. Are you going to take the full period? Are you going to take a portion that's unpaid as well, so you can start to work those into the numbers of your budget? And you also want to know that availability so that if you by chance are not going to go back to work, or your significant other is not going to go back to work, that you could start to whittle your way down before the pregnancy to living off of one income. You don't want to go from 2 incomes to 1 income with a baby very quickly. So if you can, you want to start to test yourself and try it out in your budget so that if any adjustments need to be made, you know far in advance of the delivery. Number 4 is develop a long-term child care plan. We talked about the potential of one of you not going back to work, but if both of you are going back to work and you've decided that you want to do a nanny or an au pair or daycare or drop your kids off with somebody from your local church, that you know the impact that that will have on your monthly budget. In addition to that, you also want to start interviewing as soon as possible because it is highly likely that there are more than one group of kids who want to go to that daycare facility. You might find yourself waitlisted and have to pay more for a temporary place than you would if you had gotten your child on that list sooner than later. So start to interview the second you possibly can so you can not only have a good fit for your family in terms of your child's care, but also be aware of all the things that are going to go into paying for that care as well. Number 5 is set a limit on what you will pay for the baby's furniture. Now, when I say furniture, that could mean stroller, it could mean car seat, it could mean crib, it could mean carrier. All of the things that you're going to use to either keep your child safe while they sleep, to get your child to and fro, whether in your car or carrying them on your chest or back, they all have a cost, and you're going to want something safe, reliable, and probably expensive in all of those areas. if you can set a budget at the beginning, it gives you the ability and the time to go through certain products and materials to find out that, hey, if we want this top of the line crib, it might mean that we need to get a more affordable stroller, but I still want to be able to find one that's safe. The sooner you set that budget, it gives you that time to do it and find something that you or you and your significant other are comfortable with when it's time to transport that precious cargo, or to just keep them asleep. And one bonus tip I might add is to ask new parents around you some of the things that they spent money on that they wish they hadn't. They might try to slip in some parenting advice. That's not what you're asking the question for, but it is worth knowing some of the things they spent money on, be it for burping, for teething, for breastfeeding, whatever it is that they thought was the best thing in the world until they actually used it and found out that it was a waste of money. May not be the same for you, but if it can save you some money, it allows you to keep it in your pocket or put it towards some other things that you and your child might actually get some use out of. I hope this video was helpful to you, and I wish you and yours the best on your pregnancy journey. It is an exciting time, it is a stressful time, but I do hope that this video added some value to your financial life along the way. Please, if you haven't already, subscribe to us on Facebook and YouTube, and we will make sure that we keep sending you videos in the future. Have a good one.